What does it mean to be an active survivor in Dead Frontier? Now, I know what some people are going to say. It's all about looting, it's all about bossing, it's all about earning that wage, getting the best gear and whatnot. And you're not wrong when you assume those things. Don't get me wrong, a big portion of Dead Frontier is literally collecting weapons and the power creep. That's never been a hidden feature in the world of Dead Frontier. You gotta understand that a lot of people underestimate what it means to be an active survivor. Because what if I told you that earning money in Dead Frontier isn't difficult? It's just tedious, and people are just way too picky on their means of how to earn the actual cash. So I'm gonna give you a bit of an example here. If you happen to be an active looter in Death Row and Camp Velcrest, you will know for a fact that there are just some items that are not worth taking into your inventory because you are in that zone. Furthermore, because you're in that zone, this makes a lot of sense. Your main way of earning is taking scrap weapons and then eventually accumulating enough to get a profit once you return to your outpost, where you scrap most of those items and get a 10 to 15 mil profit depending on your loot and storage capacity. In reference to the new players who don't know this, that's the reason why a lot of people bring barricading kits deep into Death Row or Camp Velcrest, because they want to be able to deposit their loot in the storage until they fill it up and they sell everything in scraps. Okay, now that you understand that as a new player, it may seem more intimidating, come to think of it, because most average players can't do that. If you're starting out in the game, you can't really survive in Death Row without spending a chunk of change on good gear. Furthermore, even in Camp Velcrest, if you are a free-to-play player, you will struggle a lot. You will struggle to keep your head up, and you will struggle to be an active survivor that is constantly selling scraps. Because most of the time, you're going to die. And most of the time, you'll be wasting ammunition because you have bad gear. Now, knowing this will discourage a great portion of players who are barely holding on, because they look at the top of the food chain thinking, oh man, if I can't get that type of gear, then I can never earn a profit in the first place. And this type of mentality is actually the problem, because let's assume that you don't have the best gear. If you keep looking at the people, comparing yourself to those who are earning millions and millions of dollars in Dead Frontier while having the best gear, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Comparison will kill you faster than your love for the game. Remember when I said that it's not really hard to earn money in Dead Frontier? Well, I actually meant that. Because for me, being an active survivor is playing into the economy of the game. Has it ever occurred to you that despite a lot of players rejecting certain items when they're going on loot runs, the marketplace is still filled with items? It's filled with truffles, it's filled with Neurotonin 8Bs, it's filled with 5As, it's filled with various forms of gear and items and consumables. Now, people underestimate the value of meds and ammo, because if you're in Death Row, it's kind of like an understandable premise. You're there to earn scraps, right? So you're not really there to accept most of the ammo or meds you find. Otherwise, it's just gonna fill up your inventory, and there's a lingering danger in that zone that just doesn't make it feel worth it. There are ways to earn money in Dead Frontier. You could be active in the economy by selling meds, selling ammo, selling items that a lot of people underestimate, and you will earn money. It's just really, really slow. Especially if you have a melee weapon, you have really nothing to lose. You can literally sell big stacks of ammo, hoard them, sell them during events, and it will still make a profit. These items are what keeps the economy going. It's what keeps the game alive and supplies majority of the player base. Do not underestimate the value of just selling whatever you find. Now, this may not really apply in the older outposts because let's face it, no one's really in those old outposts anymore. But if you happen to make it to Sakranam Bunker and you have decent gear, decent enough to deal with the mobs in the bunker, do not underestimate the value of being an active survivor. Even if you're just looting one down from the bunker, the one that's abandoned, literally right below SB, the only issue is not a lot of people want to admit this, but they're too picky. They're very picky with how they want to earn their money. The point of me sharing this is to demonstrate to you guys, and I might make a video about this in the near future, that you could earn money in Dead Frontier. People are just way too picky on how they obtain their riches. But the bottom line is you can earn a great wage just by being patient and just being an active survivor.